Hello everyone, I am Aditi Gurjal, Local Committee Vice President for Incoming Global Volunteer from ISIC in Hyderabad, and I'm going to be the Faci for this space. Before I exactly tell you why I am here or what ISIC is, I would honestly want to ask something of why you guys are here, or what exactly made you come into this room filled with a lot of people that are basically your strangers. I not want you all to give an answer that you tend to give your parents, but I would want a real, honest one. Meanwhile, of you guys thinking, I'll go first. My ISIC story doesn't start with someone convincing me how ISIC was or how amazing it was. It starts with an exchange to Indonesia through ISIC that honestly didn't go like I planned it to go. Not because the organization was at fault, but it was because of the people involved handled a few things quite differently, and that's just the truth of my whole experience. So later on, when I was back in my city, when someone later handed me an ISIC recruitment pass, I wasn't exactly sold on the organization going in, but all I really knew was that this sends people abroad for volunteering opportunities, and that was all the knowledge I had about ISIC. Neither did I do any research, neither did I go into Google, look at things, nothing. That was the one and only thing I knew about ISIC, and I decided to go through the recruitment process. And when I was going through the whole process, I still had a lot of doubts that came along, but I held back and I went through it anyway, and I ended up joining. For a very long time, people used to ask me the same question again and again of why I stayed when my experience in Indonesia wasn't that great. And my answer always used to be the same. It wasn't the organization's fault, but it was people handling it that could have been done better. And it would have been a completely different story if that was done better. It was never the opportunity that let me down, but it was honestly the execution that could have gone way better in being delivered. So that question stayed with me for a very long time, and 2 years later, I am still here in ISIC in the exact department that I want to be in. Not despite of what happened to me, but because of it. Every day, my job is to make someone else get like a experience that I didn't, and that one that was actually possible all this time. So here's what I want you all to do right now is that just think through. I do not want any of you all to write anything down. I just want you all to think through what I'm going to be asking. Go back to a moment before you decided to join ISIC of what was actually going on, what were you looking for, or even if you couldn't name it, what was exactly that one thing you wanted to grow in. Hold on to that thought of whatever brought you here, even if it wasn't clean, even if it wasn't an obvious reason. That pull that got you here was actually real. Mine wasn't clean either. Mine was something straight out of curiosity. It came off something that didn't go as well, and I still ended up exactly where I needed to be. And that is when ISIC says ISIC doesn't give you what you want, but it gives you what you need. And I would be the best example for it. Today, I'm not going to tell you what your purpose is, but because I didn't know mine either when I joined, and I just knew one thing that bothered me and I kept following it, and this is where it's gotten me to. That's the whole method that I followed, not a 5-year plan and not something that I had noted down. I noticed what pulled me and I followed it because it kept bothering me and I wanted it to get better, and that was my honest step towards what was bothering me, and that was the whole entire purpose that I built my whole ISIC journey on. So, today I'm not asking you to know exactly why you're here. I'm asking you to trust that whatever brought you to this room or into this organization, even if it's messy, even if it's not a clean story, even if it's not an obvious reason, it's worth following a little further and exploring of what you thought. Mine wasn't clean either, and I'm still here 2 years later, making sure someone else's story would be better than mine. So, welcome to ISEC, and I hope you all have an amazing journey.